What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
Ooh, in the House of Craze tonight, we are going to have MDM Studios, the creative team behind The Dark Form, which includes Mr. Aníbal Arroyo, we know him, Mr. Junior Mejias, Mark Saporito, and Daniel Rusomano. They are going to be talking to us about the project, and we're also going to be talking about variants. So let's do it.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam, the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George the Dreamer Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. It is Tuesday night, December 20th, and we are live once again. We are coming to you with a large group of friends coming up. They're sitting in the background waiting to come up. MDM Studios is who's in the house. They have a book called The Dark Form, which they're looking to release next year, actually. So that's going to be coming soon for you guys. And we're going to be talking about the topic of the day on Get Your Meds. It's going to be a little different. We're going to ask you a question. Should variant covers only be crowdfunding exclusives? We're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes. But before we get to that, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like. Share this bad boy with your friends. Even if it's in a text message, be like, yo, you got to check these guys out, dude. So send that text message out. Share it on social media, whatever you got to do. Yo, what up, Technogods? So do that so we can grow the channel. What's up, Paul? And we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it in just a few minutes. But what's going on, Sammy? How you doing, my man?
Sam's busy. Yo, dude, what's today? The 20th? We got, 14 days for the launch of book number 4 of There's an Alien in My Toilet. His name is Dudarius Uranius, and he's coming back. The laughter will kick the new year off right. So if you haven't signed up for There's an Alien in My Toilet, you should. And if you are a previous backer and you come back and you get a physical tier, you'll get this enamel pin for free just by coming back and pledging and getting your 4th issue of There's an Alien in My Toilet. And this is it. Hello, this is it. Stop acting up, my mic. And so I'm excited about that. 14 days, bro. It's a miracle. You know, it's crazy. Book 4 is done. Comics Wellspring is shipping me my proofs. I just got an email. So I'll have the proofs for book 4, but I'm halfway done with book 5, which is crazy. So I'm ahead of the curve, and I'm looking forward to the new year to pop off the right way. So join us right here on Catch the Craze live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. George the Dreamer Medina, myself, and the crazy crew. The 4 Horsemen, Aníbal Arroyo and Jonathan maybe Jonathan Cyphix. I don't know. He's like the missing link. It's hard to find him. He's like, where's Waldo? You got to look for him on the map.
Yes.
But it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, issue 4 is ready, baby.
Issue 4 is ready. That's right. 2 weeks from now. Can't believe that in 2 weeks it'll be 2023. It's nuts. It's here. It's here.
I can't believe it.
Yes.
Like, where did time go, bro?
That's right. We have a lot going on, and we're going to be doing a lot of things next year. Hopefully, obviously, the plan is to grow the channel, and we got to thank everyone who came along for the ride this year. We've gotten up to 654 subscribers, so we thank you very much. We are still growing the channel, hoping to get to 1,000. But we still got a couple of weeks, I guess a week and a half left of 2022. So, like I said, share it to your friends so we can grow it as quickly as possible. But thank you to everyone who joins us on these lives and chats it up with us. Big shout out to all the regulars out there at Ellis, Michael San Martino, my friend Crystal, who hasn't been on. She's got stuff going on, and I wish her well. But yet she's, all the regulars that come on here and just, shoot the ish with us. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you guys.
And we're 12 episodes away from our 500th episode anniversary.
Right. That's right, man.
12 episodes away, baby. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, it's coming. Now, 12 episodes. So we do an episode a week, 12 weeks. We have time. But that time flies, right? That time flies. So thank you again for joining us. And if I didn't mention your name, hey, listen.
That's because he doesn't like you.
My brain is this big. But yeah, no, and Gilbert, big shout out to you. They pop in. I'll start just mentioning names as we go through. But
Mark Torres.
Big Mark
and the Funky Bunch. Yeah,
came from the radio. Check that show out, guys. Check that show out. It came from the radio. You got to check it out.
On the radio. Whoa. Remember that song?
Yeah.
We're taking it back.
Taking it back, bro. Taking it back. But yeah, so Christmas is coming. I mentioned on Facebook that this is going to be my last show of the year, but it's not, because next week we have the Morning Brew with the Crazy Crew on Thursday morning, and that'll be the last show before the new year. And next year is going to be a couple of changes. I don't know if we're going to make the announcement just yet, but we're going to have some changes coming up next year.
Yeah.
Not in the programming as far as this show, because I think this show will probably stay on. But I think the morning show, we may have to do some things.
We might have to tweak things a bit.
We may have to tweak them a little bit. Things are happening. Things are happening behind the scenes. Positive things, good things. Don't get scared, y'all. Good things, very good things. So big things are coming. Don't forget that we also have the gear, the swag that we're going to be releasing next year during our 500 episode. The Dream Big sweatshirts, the Go Crazy t-shirts, and the pillows and
Snuggies,
bags and all kinds of fun stuff we have coming up next year. So that's going to happen. That's right. Don't forget, Sammy's got an art channel where he's posting a lot on there. It's growing.
Guest host.
Hey.
Yes. If you haven't checked out the art of Samuel, check it out. New episodes drop every week. I think this week's episode was creating functional spaces in small spaces. So how do you take a small space and add function to it? So this is where I tackled the idea of adding a tabletop draft table in a spot where I had my printer, but still being able to have my printer and then all my markers. So and I walk you through the process from selecting the shelf and putting it all together, and it's pretty fun. So check out the Art of Samuel. The link is in the chat as well.
Yes, sir. And don't forget to check out getyourmeds.com, which is my website. Get on there, pick up some gear also, pick up some books, The Adventures of Wonder Duck, Ross 5377, which we were talking to next year it's going to be so many things going on, and we still have to figure out how we're going to be doing things. Obviously, Sam's got he's launching the crowdfunder, the Kickstarter for Disneyland My Toilet issue number 4, January 3rd. I'm going to be throwing probably my hat in the ring again. Crowdfunder is looking very, very enticing, so I may be doing some stuff there. So definitely join us next year. It's gonna be a good time.
And if you've never done anything on crowdfunding and you're thinking of getting into the waters, number one, we have a series of episodes that we did with JD Calderon. We walk you through step by step from the beginning, middle, and ending of crowdfunding, and then check out the interview that we had with the president of Crowdfunder, which is the new game in town, which is a great platform for indie creators. So if you want to know more about that, check out that interview. It's tight. And on January 5th, Comics Wellspring is doing an interview with the president of Crowdfunder as well. So you got twice the chance to get caught up. And a lot of the questions were answered during the video. So check it out.
Yeah. Big shout out to David Barish, who was on the show talking to us about the platform. Kind of gave us a walkthrough as to how it works and broke down, the different tiers, systems, and how you get paid and the fees and all that other stuff. So very informative episode. If you're interested in crowdfunding, if you want to do a crowdfunding campaign but don't know how, check that out. Yeah, man. Oh, and listen, next year also, Paul Hayden, ASAP Imagination. We joined forces with Paul, and we wrote a 10-page story each. Well, it's one story, but 10 pages of that story. Sam and I wrote 10 pages. Sam, I wrote 10 pages. There's 9 other writers in there that wrote 10 pages for one cohesive story called Animatronics. And that's going to be coming out next year. They're getting down to I think the last two. Lori's writing now. Yep. Oh. And Paul's going to write. And then they're going to have a drawing.
Don't drop the ball.
Yeah, right. No pressure, Paul.
No pressure.
and then they're gonna draw for they're gonna pull out of the hat names for artists to draw. And actually, one of our guests on the show today, I believe, is gonna have a name in the hat, Mr. Aníbal Arroyo. He's gonna
do that
stuff.
Yeah.
Aníbal, I must warn you, there are some pages in this book.
Yeah, you'll put you to work.
That are out of control, dog.
I know. Look, I'm an artist, and I got screwed. I was like, oh. I said, I'm glad I'm not drawing.
Sam was Homer Simpson. That meme with Homer Simpson going into that was in Squeaky Bum Time. That's right. But no, it's a great story, man. We can't wait to see it come to fruition. It's actually going to be done for charity, so nobody involved got paid for any of this. We all did it for free and for fun. And once it gets printed, all the proceeds are going to a charity. That's going to be that we're going to be. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit. It's for the arts. It's for the arts programs here in New York. And Paul was very nice enough to get that put together. So, it's going to be a good time. Next year, I'm telling you, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. We're going to have a lot of things going on, and I'm looking forward to it.
Huge.
Yo, let me ask you a question, Sam. How many variant covers you have for issue number 4?
Yo, why are you acting up?
I'm just trying to segue.
Issue number 4? 1.
Exactly. Ooh. 1 variant cover.
That's it. Boom. Now, question. How many I have for issue 1? That's a different story.
Issue 4? I'm telling you right now.
Issue 1, I think there was 5 covers in issue 1.
Jesus. Well, the reason for the question is the topic for today. So why don't we get into it, dog?
Yes, I think I need my medicine.
It's time for your medicine.
Should variant covers only be crowdfunding exclusive?
Should they or should they not? I don't know, man. What do you think, Sam? How do you feel about variant covers at conventions when you paid money for this variant cover and now anybody else can get it? It's no longer an exclusive.
Sam, yes to that question. How do I feel? I think yes. I think they should limit it to Kickstarter. Because I think what happens when you're at a show and you have multiple issues, you just create clutter when you have all these different covers at a convention. So I think they should have an incentive to just drive it on Kickstarter, and maybe issue 1's different. I think issue 1. I think I went all out with issue 1.
So like issue 1's different because I got 5 and I'm selling them at convention.
Yeah, I don't get yeah. I mean the Rambo and the Matrix cover, they blow out like crazy at the convention. But there's only so much, unless you buy a booth where you have all 4 sides, there's only so much room you can have to display stuff. You don't want to say, hey, this is issue 1, but I got 17 other variants. It's just obnoxious. So I'm like, let's keep it to online. Like you can get variants on my website or you can get it from the Kickstarter, because you might have extra. But I believe having too many, I think at a Comic-Con, you should have a sketch cover and your standard cover. Because a sketch cover, you do commissions, right? And people love original art. So they get the best of both worlds. They get your book, plus they get a piece of your art. But to have to overwhelm your table with so many variants, I'm not sure.
Yeah, see, you're speaking from an artist point of view. Yeah, of course. Like sketch covers for an artist, of course. You better have those on your table because that's where you're going to get a lot of your not just your sales, but your commission work, right? So yes, absolutely, I agree. I think what happens with variant covers, and I agree. I think that variant covers should be limited to just your Kickstarter. And the reason why I say that is because Kickstarters are hard as it is. So we want to give the people, we want to entice them to go to the Kickstarter. If I am a fan of your work, or if I'm looking at something, I'm like, what is that? And I hear the word exclusive, I may be more, I may be more, likely to buy that because it says exclusive. But if I find that that same cover that I pledged to that was $20 or $25 because it's an exclusive is now being sold at a convention, the exclusivity of it kind of goes away. And then I'm like, the hell did I even purchase this thing for? You know
Yeah,
what I
but I
mean?
do, but on the flip side, my variants, I sell them more at a higher price point at conventions than I did on the
Well, I
Kickstarter.
mean, at that point, I think you have to, right?
Yeah,
Because I think that if the person who pledged to that variant cover because it wasn't exclusive for Kickstarter now finds it that it's not, that wasn't exclusive because that thing's at another place, I think it's a bit of a letdown. Okay, I think it should be an exclusive. People can become fans for sure, but the Kickstarter supporters help put you. I agree, exactly, Paul. Exactly my point. Limited editions, exclusives. I
yeah,
think these are the things that are going to drive the people to your crowdfunding campaign. If you can find them anywhere, they're no longer exclusive.
right.
So, and listen, I understand overstock, and I understand that. Hey, man, I got to sell these things because they're just sitting here. Like the crowdfunding campaign is over. I overprinted, and now I have these extra covers. What am I going to do with them?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? What am I going to do? I understand. You take them to the convention and you get rid of them that way. I understand that. I think you just have to kind of plan that a little better, or make them exclusive and on your next Kickstarter. If you, in case you missed it,
yeah.
on my next Kickstarter, here it is. I have seen con exclusives being sold at different shows, right? And you know what sucks about those con exclusives, bro? Because sometimes you'll print the logo of the convention that you're supposed to be at, and then you have overstock of those, and then you're selling them at another convention. How is that a con exclusive
That's what you
anymore?
gotta do. You gotta create a separate sticker and then put that on the bang as you sell it. Bang, exclusive. Bang.
We have a comment from one of our guests here. It says, 100% George. Just the other day, I was in Midtown looking at recent Spawn with 4 variants side by side. None of them was more special than the next. No incentive to pick a specific one. It's true.
Yeah, and yeah,
Unless you're a diehard fan.
that's also huge because there are some variants that don't move.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So you might think it's fun to have variants, but sometimes it just doesn't attract anybody. I have one specific variant that it was a guest artist and it just sits and sits and sits. And I'm like, and the only reason why I sold them is because I ran out of the other covers. And so for me, it's like
Right. Yeah.
I'd rather just do one variant on Kickstarter and then the cover. That's it. I had too many. When I looked at it, I'm traveling with. I said, I got too many variants. It's got to stop. This is crazy.
And I want to give a shout out to Comics Well Springs, right? We're talking about this behind the scenes. Comics Well Springs has become like the leader in like crowdfunding campaigns. A lot of people are using them to print their books and stuff like that. The problem with that is that when you have a variant cover, and say for example you sell one, you got to print 25 because the limited print run for that particular printer is 25. Yep. So now you have 24 covers that nobody ordered because only one person chose it because you decided to have 10 of them. You know what I mean? So now what are you going to do with those 24? You're just going to sit there? You have to move them. So I get it. You got to move them, right? So I understand. I just think that we got to be careful when we do these variants.
Yeah.
Call them exclusives because at that point, they're not. And to me, move them to the next campaign. You're going to put another.
Oh, yeah. Like I have variants. They just roll over to every campaign because I have it in stock, because I can't move some of these variants from the older issues. But so I just think, have something, an incentive, and I think the variant is an incentive on the Kickstarter because they know they can only get it there. And and if you're an artist and you're at a convention, just have your cover and a sketch cover, call it a day, keep it moving, make your money, and that's it. Don't overcomplicate it because you got to travel with that stuff.
Yeah. Well, you got to bring all that stuff when you're going to conventions.
I had 4 long boxes. I'm like, what is in these boxes? Variants. I'm like, oh man, I had to go to a therapist. I got a problem.
Bunch of variants, bro. I keep seeing variants everywhere, dog. Yeah, so I think variants for the most part should be left exclusively on Kickstarter if you are doing variant covers. That's my opinion. You guys can chime in. Thank you so much to the chat for chiming in on the conversation. And JM, listen, we're gonna have a room full of creators coming up in just a few minutes. They are all waiting in the back, waiting to come out. They're gonna be talking about. Yeah, they're going to be talking about a brand new book. Now, the beauty of these guys is that for a lot of them, it's their first book. It's their first project. And Anibal Arroyo, who's a very good friend of ours, part of the Horsemen, obviously. He served as almost like a editor-in-chief, almost like, he's kind of been wearing different hats. And so it's great to see. I was fortunate enough to be a part of this as the letterer, so I know what these guys had, the process behind what they did. And I can't wait to talk to them about it. The book is called The Dark Form. It's coming out next year. And we're going to have them out in just a few minutes. You just let me know, Sam, when you're going to open up those gates. I got them through.
Remember when it was our first outing?
Mm-hmm.
That feeling?
Bro, the night before, going to that convention with 500 books. What were we thinking, dog? 500 books that we had to fold and staple ourselves because there were no Comics Well Springs out there at the time.
Oh man, it was straight up hustle. It was, oh my God. But you know what? It was funny. Our first convention, we finagled our way to a free table. we got somebody on the side to hook us up with glossy full color, but we had to staple them and fold them ourselves. And then we had our table. Yeah, it was crazy. But that first will always be the most cherished one, right? So I appreciate what these guys are doing. Because that first outing is always the best.
And I'm going to tell you this. I think Gilbert Rodriguez was one of the very first guys that came to our table. And I don't know if he's watching the show right now, but he was one of the first guys to come to our table and pick up our books, our printed books that we stapled. Yeah. I actually ran into him years later at New York Comic Con. And I was there with my books and stuff, with my new book for Russ. And Gil shows up at the booth, at the table, with the old issues 1 and 2, man, in bags still. I'm like, damn, Gil. It was amazing. It was incredible. Because that it's like you don't forget it. You say you don't forget your first time, but you also don't forget some of your first supporters and your first fans, man. So big shout out to Gilbert. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. So what we're going to do is we're going to run to a commercial break. Remind everybody why you should subscribe to Catch the Craze. And when we come back, we're going to bring the squad in and we're going to have a lively chat. So why should you subscribe?
It's Monty Moore. I'm a 30-year comics veteran in comics, games, and movies, and you've been watching one of my absolute favorite podcasts, Catch the Craze.
You are watching Catch the Craze.
What am I listening to?
And you're listening to Catch the Craze.
Where are all the indies at?
A Catch the Craze podcast.
What are you watching?
I'm watching Catch the Craze.
What are you going to do?
Subscribe now to Catch the Craze, the #1 show online for independent.
Have you subscribed to?
If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
The squad's in the house. Welcome, gentlemen.
There they are. Look at them. Holy cow. It's a full house. It's a full house.
What's up,
guys?
What's up?
Hello.
How are you, man?
Excellent.
How you doing?
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you guys. So we have Aníbal, we have Mark and Danny, we have
Aníbal, your mic's off.
Okay, now, right?
There
Good?
you go.
All right. I was saying I was about to shoot a quick promo while your commercial was on, and I had the phone literally in my hand, like, oh shit, we're on.
Oh man, so welcome. Thank you guys for coming on. I know that you have, Dark Form is going to be coming out sometime next year. We were hoping to have like some proofs of the book ready to go, but we were talking about the printers. It hasn't come in yet. But big shout out to you guys. You're doing excellent work, dude. Beautiful artwork.
Thank you.
Mark, the story was great, dude. I mean, obviously, I've read the story. And Aníbal, dude, you're just pulling all the strings and putting everything together. So let's talk a little bit about. I mean, there's a lot of you on the screen, but I definitely want to talk about the book because we only have about 30 minutes. So, Mark, I know every book, every story that we put together out there, every comic book has like a background story, right? It has like this.
Yes.
What happened to that book? How did it come to be? Tell us a little bit about how the Dark Form, because I know this was the second iteration of the book, right? You had it originally written. Tell us a little bit about the backstory of how the book came to be.
It came out, I originally wrote a screenplay. Mm-hmm. I'm a screenwriter that's what I did.
Gotcha.
I wrote a screenplay and I wrote a trilogy, and I took the excerpts from the trilogy and put it into the Dark Form, like make his own story. and there's Hellfire. It's called Vengeance of Hellfire. That's the name of the screenplay, the trilogy. So, and then the Dark Forms are excerpts from that.
Interesting. So now the screenplay that you wrote, what genre is it in? Like, what's the genre?
It's like I wouldn't call it sci-fi. I guess you could call it sci-fi, but it's not actually a sci-fi. It's more like it's just like a drama. There's a dramatic pieces to it. So
no, big time, man. And so obviously it was a screenplay. Then that screenplay, those inserts went over to Anibal to kind of figure out and kind of turn it into what you guys have produced.
I had a friend that wrote read the trilogy I wrote, and he comes up to me. He goes, this would make a good comic book. So I never wrote a comic book. I never knew how to do it or whatever. So I had a friend go through it with me. He goes, you do it like this, do it like that, take a little bit. So I said, this is great. So I broke it down, and then I came up with the story, the story. Then that's where Annabelle comes in.
Right.
Annabelle, I was introduced to this guy, Annabelle, to the guy, and then we were working together. Kind of lost touch, Annabelle and I, and then something fell through, and I was at work one day, and I was like praying. I said, I don't know what to do. So I got in touch with Annabelle again. And then this was back in January, Annabelle. So, and then all of a sudden, I think it was in January, and then we started going on. We
January 1st, actually.
Having conversation, and it was really and I really got excited. I really started getting excited about it.
Yeah.
So it was great, man. And Annabelle's the best, man. He's the man. He's the man.
There is something about seeing your words in images as a book that just drives you insane, right? It just makes
exactly.
I agree with you 100%. So Anibal, you take on this excerpt. Tell me a little bit about the process of converting what Mark gave you and then turning it into this script for this comic book.
I guess I can liken it to, you guys ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind?
Yep.
With Russell Crowe. That's Mark, okay? The character, he's like writing the formulas all over the world. That's the script, okay? And then I'm just like a translator. I'm taking all of that and kind of filtering it and making it into a comic book page, like a workable script. Because as we all know, screenplay is completely different from a comic book script.
Exactly.
So, but it's a fun process. I love it. I think I like the behind the scenes process probably, if not more than the actual, having the book in hand. You know what I mean? That feeling. I can say I feel really good throughout the process.
So now, Junior, how did you become involved in the process now? How did, because Anibal now he has this book from Mark. Now you need an artist to make this thing happen. How did that happen? How did that connection happen?
Well, I've known Anibal for a hot minute now because we both went to the same college, and he's seen my growth as an artist. So I have some comic book experience under my belt. I did my own original comic. I was a part of another client's comic, and Anibal and I always talked about doing something together. So when this opportunity came up, I just had to jump on it. And especially for me, Anibal knows that I love pencils. That is my favorite part of the process.
Gotcha. So you're the penciler on the book, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. And you guys did it a little. I love the process that you guys took, because normally, you're the penciler. You would go in there and do your thumbs and all that other stuff. Anibal, you kind of took on the thumbnail part of of the process, right?
Yeah.
So why?
Well, I'd like to get into, I know we only have half an hour, but I want to get into like the background that Mark kind of skipped over as to like, listen, guys, me and Mark have known each other for 6-7 years, right?
7 years.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not going to mention any names that don't need to be mentioned here, but Mark used to be partners with this other fella, who originally hired me to originally do the book 6 years ago. And we got as far as doing the character designs, which I did. And then the guy fired me. Okay.
Yeah, and I was pissed.
Yeah, he said, like, we had a little disagreement. He sent me this long-winded email, and to add insult to injury, this is the funny part. He said, "By the way, your artwork is just okay." All right,
wow.
I can't believe it, man.
Okay, that happened, right? So fast forward 6 years later, me and Mark kind of, we went our separate ways or whatever. So fast forward 6 years later, the beginning of 2020, 2 this year, I get a text. You know, I don't save Mark's number. It's just this weird text or a phone call. So I'm like, whatever. It's probably somebody trying to sell me some insurance or windows I don't need or whatever. So I don't answer. So then I get it again, and this time I listen to the voicemail, and it's, "Hey, Annabelle. Hey, it's me. Remember Mark from 6 years ago? I'm still trying to do this content." You know what I mean? So
that's exactly what happened.
So that's part of the whole process, right? So at the time, I'm still in school, so I'm working on my own stuff. So I knew that I wouldn't be able to take on the project fully, like pencil, ink and do it. So that's when I reached out to Junior because, again, that's his specialty. And plus, hey, up and comer, he's got all the energy of freaking, a young stud. I'm an old guy now. My eyes are fading, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I took more of the role of the editor in chief, kind of the breakdowns guy. What I was kind of like the what they call like the what is the person in between in business, the liaison, I forget the word. Liaison. There you go. I was that guy between like the whole team basically. So that so just to fill everybody up on the background of the dark form, that you got to include the drama. It's too funny not to talk about it. It's hilarious. No. Okay, getting back to what was the question, George? I got off track.
No, that was good. That was good, bro. Basically,
I don't even remember what the question was.
My question was about the thumbnails, but so I understand you didn't have like the time to take on the entire project, but I think that you kind of did it differently, where you are handing Junior some thumbnails, and then in Junior you're working off of those thumbnails. So I guess, now that you answered that part of it, Anibal, back to you, Junior. Do you find it easier to work that way? Did you find it was something that you were like, yo, dude, if I just got to draw what's on here, I'm good to go? Or do you kind of wish you had a little more, not freedom, because I think you guys have like a good relationship as far as what you can or cannot do. But how did you find that process?
I mean, I could see it definitely being a little bit annoying, but like you just said with Anibal, it was very comfortable. I could tell him, listen, I think we should do this way or do this that way. And he was very flexible. But at least for me, like you just said, it was easier because it took out a bunch of thinking and I could just go straight into the art.
The thinking.
No, I hear you. And listen, we have a special guest sitting back here. We didn't even speak about who's Danny. Talk to Danny. Tell us a little bit about how you are involved.
He's the producer. He's my best friend for 30 years.
Pays the bills, man. Keeps the lights on.
Tell him the story about how when you needed the cash.
What happened? I was like, I was like going bananas. I was like saying, man, I have to get somebody to invest in my dream because this is gonna implode on me. So who would be better? I had my brother help me out a lot, and some, and my sister-in-law. I go on my phone and I work with this guy for 20 years. I know him for 30-something years. Wow. And I said, freaking Danny, I'm gonna get him. So I call him up and I'm nervous, I'm sweating. I'm like, oh shit. And all of a sudden Danny, because we had a big talk, a big discussion. We got together and he goes, don't worry about it, it's all taken care of. Wow. And we got the thing funded, and I can't thank these guys enough.
We're more than friends.
We're more than friends. We're like brothers, man. I know this guy 30 years.
There you go.
That's awesome. We're crazy, man. That's what I feel like. There's a unit. You know what I'm saying? And now with Annabelle and Danny and Julia, we're like a unit. So when this thing pops off, I think it's gonna be really big. It's gonna be.
So I guess I'm the financier.
Yeah, you're
there. You go. we all need a Danny. We all need a Danny.
Yeah, we need a Danny.
We need more Dannys.
There needs to be more.
I was like, shit, man. What am I gonna do?
No, listen. But to your point, Mark, that's what this is, right? You people think, oh, you're creating comics. Comics cost money to make, man. These things aren't cheap. They're not cheap, man. So I totally get you. And now that you guys were in the trenches together, it's that bond, right? Now there's all of us. You guys work together on this thing, and it's very different. Yeah.
I drove Annabelle crazy for a long time, going back and forth and stop. I'm like, oh my god, I have to just get it done. You know what I'm saying? And we did it, and I'm so proud of everybody, man.
I gotta say, Mark is quite flexible as well. I mean, even with the script, I had to literally like take parts out to fit other parts in, and I'd be like, "Hey, Mark, we're gonna have to do this, that," and he's like, "Hey, man, I believe in what you're doing. Do what you got to do," and that made the process that much easier.
Because when I was writing it, like when he was telling me, and he was actually Annabelle was just basically pulling the stuff out of my mind, putting on paper and sending me. I was freaking out. And he knows that I'm being very docile right now because I'm like, I gotta do it. And you know, it's a real. But
the artwork. What about the artwork? Every time they sent the picture, we never said no. That's no good. Everything was. Every time they sent something,
it was perfect.
It was perfect. Like we didn't never said change that or we don't like that. Everything was like, man, look at this. It's great.
It's unbelievable. And we, you know, we have a couple of people that looked at the artwork and they're like, their mouths are open because they couldn't drop. Their jaws are dropped because of how great it looks. Just like I am. I'm excited, man.
No, and kudos to Junior. You did an amazing job with those pencils.
Amazing.
The inks, the colorist too, who's not here. The colorist also. I'm telling you, it's a whole team, man. This is a whole team. It was a team effort. It was a team.
And I want to shout out the colorist too, man. I've been working with the colors for a couple of years. His name is Lance Catan, way out in the Philippines, man. If he's watching or if he gets to see this later, man, we appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted from the beginning. I said we can get a team together and just be a unit. You know what I'm saying? That's what MDM is. It's just a unit.
We're a team.
We're a team. We're not always together. We're usually like on Zoom or whatever. But it's a team effort, man. It's great. I love it.
It's amazing.
That's fantastic. Goosebumps, huh, Mark? Goosebumps?
Goosebumps. That's my favorite thing, man. Every time you send me, I have Annabelle rolling, man. Because I get goosebumps. I get chill.
This is so fucking exciting.
Because as a screenwriter, I could see it jumping in front of me. You know what I'm saying? I could see it. I could see the scene. I could see it. And I could look about it in my head and just like, oh my God, this is insane.
I love it.
Well, we could give him a taste of the story.
Yes. Yeah.
Mark, I'm warning you, man. You're hooked now, bro.
I'm hooked, man.
You may never stop making comics. You're done. Anyway, Sam, did you have a question? I thought you were going to ask him something.
No, what I wanted them to start talking about the premise and of the story. So give us the premise and what can you expect from this.
Well, there's two scientists. This is how it starts. They're being funded by another scientist. Right. And what happens? They get the use of this cabin in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. So there's Dax and Kevin. Kevin's the good guy. Dax is like more laid back, and he's like he's like arrogant, and he's like jealous. He got jealous tendencies. So what happens? Kevin comes up with this formula first. They're both working on this formula for the military. Mm-hmm. Kevin comes up with it first, and Dax feels like cheated, and he's just arrogant and whatever. And now it goes into this story where they frequent a bordello with close by to where the shack is. So they do what they do with the madam and the prostitutes and everything. But the madam and Kevin have a son. He's got cancer. He's very sickly. And what happens is instead of using the formula that Kevin came up with for the military, he uses on his sick son. So now, in the meantime, Dax has his own formula, and he hides it. Mm-hmm. But he gives his son the formula. Kevin gives his son the formula, and then all of a sudden, he becomes this. He's still a little kid now. And it goes into this big story where it's catastrophic. He's a cop. The kid he gets cured. The kid becomes an adult. He becomes a cop and tries to help people, but he's like a vigilante on the other end. Mm-hmm. So what happens? So now Dax is in the wing. Dax is in Canada somewhere. He's in Canada, and he's hiding out. Comes back as Hellfire. He becomes Hellfire, but he's taken over the skies. He took over the skies, their phones, everything. and humanity's under duress. So now the kid, Eric, his name is, he's a full-grown man now. He has the powers, but he's reluctant and he's afraid to face this hellfire. So that's the premise of it, and it goes into other stories because I get, like I said, it's doing. I don't want to give the whole story away, but it's like a trilogy.
He's
so
actually a new superhero.
He's a new superhero. He's just like a new superhero.
Yeah.
He could fight like mortal people, but then he could fight hellfire, which is, if he's going to destroy the world.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So once you read it, it's going to be great. Once it comes out and we read it, and get everybody involved.
I mean, obviously, I'm privy to seeing what it is, and you're describing it exactly the way it is. I love the fact that you have all of these different characters, and everybody has their own motives and their own motivations to do certain things. Are any of these characters based on like people or like
No, just like a couple of names, maybe a couple of names.
Yeah,
Dax Chavo. That's the bad guy. I went to school with a kid. His name was Chavo. His last night I thought that was a cool name, catchy name. That is cool. So I figured that's for him. And a Kevin. I have my nephew's name is Kevin. Okay. So I threw him in there as the lead, one of the scientists.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah, no, dude, that's awesome.
And everything just comes out.
What are some of the favorite things that you are enjoying about drawing the actual book? Like, tell me some of the things that you're enjoying the most.
Me, I like Dax. I mean, I like the dark form. He's amazing. So, but the scientists when they get together and start doing the story, it's amazing. I just like the dark form. He's my favorite character.
Yeah, he's like a vigilante, but then he's gonna be a superhero after that. It's crazy.
Anyway, you designed that character? That was your design of the character?
He's loosely based on back 6 years ago when I was working on the designs. I did some design work for him, but I never actually got to finish the actual finished design. Yeah. So the person who designed it took elements of my little design work that I did and kind of hashed it together and kind of came up with his own look. So technically yes and no.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Anybody, you did the thumbnails?
Yeah, I thumbed out the script. Yeah.
I number one, I've always loved Anibel's thumbnail work. Like I have a whole collection of his thumbnails. It's fantastic the way he illustrates. But so walk me through your process before you gave it to Jim. Walk me through your process on your thumbnails and how do you approach the page?
Well, when I got the script, I needed to actually read through to see, what the pacing would look like. And immediately from translating from screenplay to comic book, it just doesn't work as a comic book. So as I was going through, I'm doing the red pen through the script. I'm doing and the stuff that made me cut, that's the stuff I would read off and illustrate. And then as I would do that, I could tell, okay, here's where I'm going to need to turn the page. So I would end it with an illustration, and it may be in the writing, it could be that's like page 2, but I chopped it down to 1 page instead to keep the consistency going, the pacing going. And from there, it's just a matter of visualizing every sequence, every couple of pages, and making sure you're changing what's going on in accordance to the scenery and according to that scene. You know what I mean? And making sure that it's easily understandable by looking at it without even having text on it. If I can achieve that with just the visuals, my artist, the reader, the viewer, that makes their experience that much fun.
Right. So Jim, normally an artist doesn't get thumbnails. Normally the artist does the thumbnails. So you get these thumbnails. Yeah. How did you tackle actually starting illustrating it once you got the thumbnails?
So once I got the thumbnails, I pretty much had the layout of how the page goes. It was just a matter of going and looking for reference. So Anibal would tell me, okay, this is the setting for this is a cabin in Louisiana, etc. This is just a matter of looking up all these references, getting all the pieces I like together, and the angles for the scene were already decided for me thanks to Anibal. So once that was set, I just had to get down and draw it.
Nice.
And speaking of the process, one really interesting thing about this project that I really actually liked is that I never got the full script from the start. Anibal would only give me just enough information to do my job.
Yeah.
Right. So whenever he would give me a new page, it's like I'm reading it for the first time too. So it's like, damn, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
Now, I guess let me ask you this, and I guess it works different because you're getting the thumbs as they come along. But do you find that, like, as far as consistency goes in the artwork, and you did a great job because everything is consistent. I feel like sometimes when you don't have a full script to work off of, there may be some consistency issues in there, and I didn't see any. Like, how did you manage to avoid those things? Like, did you have like the pages up on your computer as you were drawing the next few pages? Like, how did you keep it so consistent?
Oh yeah, I always have to flip back and forth to remember stuff that I did previously to be able to continue.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I gotta add that's all part of the thrill, because literally the pages that I'm giving to Junior are the pages that are ready to go. So I'm like rehashing the screenplay into comic space. So I would do maybe 3 or 4 pages at a time, and I'm like, okay, Junior needs work. Let me get him that while I work on the next set. So literally, as I'm doing them, he's getting them. So it's like almost like we're a step ahead each time. You know what I mean? Like anticipating the next thing. So
nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
Junior, do you use any reference when you're drawing?
100%, always.
You do.
Makes my job easier. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you take your own photos, or what kind of reference?
If I can, I would. I 100% prefer to shoot my own reference. I got my little I don't know what they call them, the little figures, pose them however you want, take them from any angle. Yeah,
no, that's awesome, dude.
So we got
there you go. Those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a question. It says, is this book going to be crowdfunded?
The plan is yes. We're looking into possibly having a crowdfunder. We're still deciding if it's going to be Kickstarter or the one you guys had on the other day, the crowdfunder guy, that one. Possibly in the spring, where it'll be basically like having pre-orders of the book, because I've already sent out for proofs. I sent the guy an email tonight just listening to you guys talk about your situation, Sam, because I sent out for the proof about 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard back from the guy. So yeah, so I did that tonight, and we're definitely considering the crowdfunding route for sure.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now, and I know it's a trilogy in the form of a screenplay, right? What will that convert to in comics? It's not going to be 3, right? I mean, how many comics are you?
Oh, we could get a lot out of it. I could get a lot out of it, like a ton of it.
Yeah.
Because we're working on the second one now, right? And we got that, and then we got another one. I could go on and on about maybe at least 10. That's the way I'm looking at it.
That's
When I get it so far, when I get the time, I look through the script and go, look at it and say, man, this is great. No, I'm like, I just go back and forth. I go, it's like I could get about 10 so far of this comic book. With no sign of stopping.
It definitely could be ongoing. As planned, we want to try to do it as a trilogy, and then maybe have it as a one shot. But it definitely could be broken down. I'm doing it in a way where if he chooses to make it, single issues, he will have total, access to turn it into single issues as the way that I'm breaking it down. So yeah, it can totally be 10 or 15 or however, wherever he wants to break down the page count.
The crowdfunder the crowdfunding campaign that you guys are planning, is that going to be for issue number 1, or is that going to be for the
that is for issue number 1? Yeah. But it's already done, like as you guys know. So anybody listening, the book is done. I'm not waiting on anything. I'm just waiting for the proof, make sure everything's legit, and then boom, it'll be there. So once you guys pledge, it'll be ready to ship.
Yep, I'm doing it, man.
So what was your takeaway from this experience? This is your first comic book project. This is to Mark and Danny. This is your first comic book project. How was the experience? What were some of the things that you learned from this?
It's a whole new world for me. It's like crazy.
How to work together with each other.
How to work together with each other, and it's seeing it visual.
It's very exciting. Very exciting.
Very visual. Like when Annabelle, like we said, like when he gave me pictures, I'm saying, my God, this is exactly what, like the cover, he sent me the front and back cover. It's amazing. And then to see it in your head, that's what I walk away with. I'm like, I can't believe it. And then I start thinking about the movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like that for me.
Yes.
Yeah, but every time he sends you something, he sends it to me, and we start getting more excited about everything every time we see more pictures, because the pictures are unbelievable.
Yeah. When you see it, you'll understand what we're talking
about. The pictures are amazing. The artwork is unbelievable.
The people that we did show, they freak.
And every time we try to confer with each other, Mark will say, Dan, look at this. How do you like these pictures? I'm like, that's perfect.
Yep.
And we never said, hey, do something over.
Mm-hmm.
We liked everything the first time. And when we show somebody the pictures, they say amazing.
Yeah.
They think it's amazing.
And it's the truth, man. These guys are
and some people can't wait because we told our friends and stuff about it because actually it was hush hush for a long time. But now that we could talk about it, we show people pictures. They're like, we can't wait for this to come out.
Right.
You know, where could we buy it? How could we get it? We want it, you know?
Right.
I got you. Now, let me ask you a question. We have a cover. Can we show that cover on the show for the first time for those people watching? Is that all right with you guys? If we show the cover of the book?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Let's pull it up, Sam.
We were hoping to have it tonight, actually. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that thing.
It's top notch.
That's
see, you got
awesome. Nice.
You got dark form there. Then you got Dax in the back. Then the mother, see, she's the madam with the little boy in her hand, in her arms, and that's the dark form looking in the past. Like this is a family, like roots, like all his roots that made the world catastrophic. It's catastrophic, and he has to stop it. It's awesome. I'm not even touching base on how much info is in you're gonna see in this book.
But the covers, it's fantastic.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, Junior, this is your work right here, right, Junior?
That's all Junior. Yeah.
That's it.
That's beautiful.
No, you can tell that you guys went to the same school because I think the school's partly a hairstylist because you guys rocked out.
Look at that hair. Look at that hair, bro.
That's good.
That is dope.
Audibel's known for his hair.
Do you have the back of the cover also?
No, I just have that one.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
next time we'll wear a hat. Next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what's going on. Yeah, dude, this looks amazing, guys. And I can't wait to see it in print and for people to read it because it is a really, really good story. And trust me, I'm not just saying that because I read the book. It's great. It is really, really well paced. For those people who enjoy comics, with drama, with action, with character development, this is it. And like you said,
you don't know
that whole thing with Dax and his friend Kevin, you think they're friends until you know what I mean? Like,
he's very jealous.
Yes,
he's a jealous guy, Dax, and it shows in the bordello. You'll see the part in the bordello when he's jealous and he's with the madam, and he's just like he's out for vengeance.
Right.
That's why the movie's called Vengeance of Hellfire, because it's about him. The movie is about him. But like I said, I took excerpts from Vengeance of Hellfire and put it in the dark form. So you're gonna see like elements of it. I don't want to give it away. That's why I'm being tight-lipped about it until you see what we're talking about.
You're holding back.
I'm holding back, man. I'm like Raging Bull, man. I gotta come out, man. Annabelle knows, man. I got goosebumps on one arm and I got Hulk fist on the other, man.
That's fantastic. So outside of the crowdfunder, what's your plans to get this into people's hands outside of crowdfunding?
Well, I'm looking to try to book us some shows, man. I would like Mark to be with the public. I feel like his personality would really shine in a public setting. And hey, the sky's the limit. Yeah, exactly. Let him loose. Open up the floodgates. Let Mark out.
I'm coming out, man.
Yeah, Mick.
And we want to mention another thing. Like like if when this takes off, we're for me, and I could speak for all the guys. I think we want to help the less fortunate. You know what I'm saying? It's like a mission and
give back a little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
Charity work.
And we're like regular guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a regular guy. I'm a worker. I go to work every day and I'm busting my ass. But, it's all worth it. And I want to give back to the less fortunate. Like, that's why the little boy, Eric, he has cancer. And it's an homage to the people, the children that have cancer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That they have cancer. And it gives, but that's what I want to do.
And it gives hope too.
It gives hope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic.
That's. I just wanted to put that out there, man.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Nah,
Because I
thank you,
love
Nick.
people,
Yeah.
man. I love being around people. I don't like misery and chaos. You know what I'm saying? I want to do something good.
I love it.
So,
I love it, man. I love it.
know.
Guys, this is awesome, man. I thank you so much for coming on, talking about the dark form.
Thank you, man.
Everyone watching,
Thanks,
make
guys.
sure that you pick up a copy once it comes out. Now we're talking about next year, and next year is right around the corner. So are you guys going to start getting that going, right, and getting ready for it? So that's beautiful.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So let's go around the room and tell everybody where they can find you. If you have a social handle, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, where can they find out more about you or your project? So we'll start with Anibal, then we'll go down to Junior, and then Mark and Danny. So Anibal.
Well, everybody pretty much knows me on Instagram. That's my go-to Instagram @Arroyakis, and my Facebook Anibal Tocayo Arroyo. That's basically how I get my commissions and how I get my promos done and how people see my artwork. So yeah, that's basically it for me.
Jay.
Same thing for me. Instagram, you can find me at JIM_illustrations. There you'll find all my comic book work, my illustration work, and also my tattoo work, because I'm also a tattoo artist.
Are you a musician as well?
Dabble a little bit, yeah, if you can tell from the back, yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Gentlemen, how about you?
Go ahead, Dan.
Dark Form Official.
Awesome.
And
where's that at? On Twitter, Facebook?
Instagram.
Instagram? Okay, cool. Outstanding.
I'm on Instagram too. It's Dark Form Cometh.
Cometh.
On Instagram and on Facebook, it's Marco Sapo.
All right.
Marco Sapo.
Awesome.
It's on Facebook.
That's fantastic, guys. I mean, you guys definitely have the energy and the camaraderie, and you got us excited. So I wish you nothing but this, a lot of success. And when you guys launch your Kickstarter campaign, you have to come on Catch the Craze, and let's make it.
Yes, I'm ready, man. I'm all ready.
Let's do it.
I'm all ready.
You have an official invite to launch your campaign right here on the show.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. So you guys have a great evening, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. It was a great episode. I think the energy is infectious.
Love the energy,
and that camaraderie is fantastic.
Yes, yes.
I can't wait to see it. I mean, you got a sneak peek of the finished product because you worked on it.
Dude, it's really good. No, it really is good. And listen, Junior's work is top notch. Anibal's inks over his pencils, and then they had the colorist. Like, it was just everything. I mean, when you talk about how comic books are put together, this is what they did. So they went writer, thumbnails, penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, boom, everything. So it's a really well done book, and I think it's gonna do well. I think it's gonna do well on whatever crowdfunding campaign they use.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And listen, and once they start hitting the conventions, you have somebody like Mark behind the table.
Crazy.
What I mean?
Bring your A game, people, because you're gonna have competition.
Yo, Mark is no joke. I love the energy. You know what I mean? And everybody. I think it's just a very well put together book. So really looking forward to everybody seeing it.
Yeah.
Flatter too, George. Oh, there was a flatter. Oh, wait, let me find out. All right. All right. Jeez. I mean, listen. Let me see. Did I miss something here?
I don't know. Unless you just busted your bubble.
It
could be. I don't know. Was there?
No, there wasn't. But all right. Maybe it's a ghost flatter or something. I don't know.
Is that what it is?
I don't
ghost
know.
flatter?
I don't know. Yeah,
that's fantastic. No, great. This was a great episode, and I do want to say thank you everybody who joined us tonight. He's busted balls. Oh, he's busted balls. Yeah, so everybody who joined us today in the live chat, we certainly definitely appreciate you. We won't be doing the morning brew this Thursday. So I did post it, but we're not going to do it because George is traveling, and I'd rather do the morning brew with George because that's basically our thing. So it will be back next week with the morning brew. If you want to get any other episodes, if you haven't checked out the Crazy Internal, let's check out that episode. I just did that about why it's important. Why is it important to focus on your dreams? And and check out the art channel, The Art of Samuel. If you haven't done that already, check out The Art of Samuel. Go subscribe to my art channel where you got art tips, behind the scenes convention tips, and studio tours, and a whole lot of other stuff. So that's That's going well. And thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel already. And thank you to the 3 new subscribers tonight to Catch the Craze podcast. We appreciate you out there. Yeah, there's another good day. And don't forget to sign up for Disney in My Toilet on Kickstarter. The link is in the chat, is in the summary. We launched January 3rd right here on Catch the Craze podcast, book number 4.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. So
yes. Don't forget to subscribe, like Sam said. And Sam, you do have a show next Tuesday, though. Next Tuesday, you will be back.
I think I have Earth's Best Gotti on the show next Tuesday night. So I'll be back Tuesday night with him, and then we'll be back Thursday morning with the Morning Brew. And then the new year pops off, and then
New year, brother, New Year. Don't forget, Tuesday the 2nd. We will be the 2nd or 3rd. It's the 3rd, right?
The third, right here on Catch the Craze podcast.
Right. That's right.
And from us at Catch the Craze to you, we wish you a merry, happy holiday season. A Merry Christmas to you and your family. We hope that you all stay safe, stay warm, and have a memorable season. And if you haven't tried Glühwein, try Glühwein. It's a nice, hot, spicy wine. It's great to drink with family and friends. It is fantastic. It's originated in Germany, but I was first introduced to it in Austria. So try Glühwein if you haven't done so already. But with that said, don't forget to check out Get Your Meds. That's with a Z, getyourmeds.com for all things Medina. And I'm Sam, the crazy man, Vera.
George, the Dreamer Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy kids. That's not.
Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh, Lord.
He described me. He said, I'm the
You're Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.